Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for the Optc video, and in today's video, it's that time of the month. End of the month means Legend, Sugo, tier lists. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down all of the level limit breaks as well as new legends that have arrived on Optc in the month of October. And I got to say, there's a lot to talk about. There is so many new characters to talk about. We have 5 new level limit breaks. Absolutely massive. We also have, what, 4 new legends? No, 3 new legends and 2 new 6+s to talk about. So there's a lot of new characters coming for this particular tier list. But if you enjoy this kind of stuff, as always, make sure to belt the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button. Before we dive into the tier list, though, I do want to give a huge shout out to the tier list maker. I'll leave the link to my tier list in the description below, as well as the database for the images provided. Again, link in the description. Before we dive in, though, I do want to make it very apparent that this is just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with this, but hopefully it gives you guys an idea of what characters and what legends are at the top of the list for this particular month and for the previous months moving forward. I'll leave a playlist in the description below. Make sure to go check out some of those old playlists as well. If you guys want to check out why some characters have moved and where I put certain characters. But remember, this is my own personal tier list of playing the game for like the last 5 to 6 years. I do have every single character on this particular list, except for Legend Smoothie, which is a little bit interesting. But I do have all of these characters. I have used all these characters to extent. But at the end of the day, you don't have to agree with me, and that's okay. The way I rank my characters on is a broad spectrum of the entire game. I try not to include stuff like PvP as well as Grand Voyage. Grand Voyage especially is so restrictive to particular types of characters, but because of Grand Voyage being the hardest content in the game, it does sort of rank the value of those characters a little bit higher for characters that you want to get and what characters you want to max out to beat said Grand Voyage stages. However, as new characters keep coming out, Grand Voyage will get easier and easier with new characters that can make each stage better. PvP, I like to do different PvP tier lists, especially with Grand Party coming out. Like, we're not 100% sure how that's fully operating. And I do like to rank characters as their PvP elsewhere. However, it does come into a little bit of consideration here. Like, it does take a little bit of consideration because you want to max out the characters to make them better in PvP, right? But the big criteria for me is captain ability, special ability. How good are they on a team? Are they usable on a team even if they're not boosted? Or how well do they operate to beat the content that we have available? Remember, there's not one team that can beat everything in the game, and a character is only as good as the content that you take them into. So, for me, usability is the big thing. Kizuna, treasure map for endgame players are usually the highest ranked in terms of value of a character, and if a character performs better there, usually the endgame players will rank those characters higher. For example, Kaido. Kaido is like a god in Kizuna. He's great in treasure map, but everywhere else, he kind of sucks. He's a bit slow. He has great damage output, but you need to build the team so specific around him to make the team operate, where something like Super Tandem Luffy, not as good in Kizuna, but still great in Kizuna, terrible in something like treasure map, but really good in literally every other aspect of the game, means that you can sort of just you have more flexibility when building your team. So that's what I like to take into consideration, how flexible the unit is. They're super class, they have a super type. How amazing is their special? The special is the big criteria, I think. Super type and super class also comes into play, as well as captain ability. Sailors help, and obviously if that character has access to good supports as well. But that's enough about that. You guys pretty much know the gist if you guys have been checking out these videos. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me, and let's take a look at October 2022. Okie dokie. So as you guys can see here, we have the 5 new level limit breaks. We've got Cracker, V2 Zoro, V2 Mihawk, Inuarashi, and V1 Neko. They've all gotten buffs, as well as Hina being the treasure map legend, 6+ Blackbeard through Kizuna, the special Halloween legend of Corazon and Law, the special 6+ of Halloween and Ace, and then the special legend, or the super Sugo as I like to call them, Kinemon, Dendra, Ashura Doji, and Dogstorm. So just before we do start, I do want to have a quick breakdown of the tiers. Obviously, support tier, you were basically only maxing these characters' supports, and then you're saying see you later. These characters here needs a 6+ or a level limit break plus badly. All of these characters need a buff something severe. The content requires or niche tier, they're literally just good for like particular pieces of content, like for example, Kuma can do his blow away, like Reiju, if there's poison, you're going to use Reiju. If you need the revive of Brook, you're going to bring Brook, that kind of shenanigan stuff. B tier sub, these characters are like pretty good. They're probably at the lower end, but they're definitely not as bad as these guys here. Then I've added in a bunch of new tiers. As you can see here, B tier level limit break 5. Now, a lot of people were getting confused because obviously this tier list is at the character's max potential. So when you rank a character on their max potential, level limit break obviously comes into account. But most players don't have level limit break 5 Jinbei, for example. Or players don't have a level limit break 5 Tessero for the same reason, right? So me putting Tesoro in B tier captain because he's level limit break 5 is very good is a little bit hard to understand for newer and mid-game players, or for end-game players that literally don't have Tessero at level limit break 5. So I've created a new tier for each of these, and we're going to rank the characters that I think have the best level limit break in this particular tier. I've done the same up here in A tier, or obviously A tier is better than B tier. But the captain obviously means that they're better as a captain. S is sub, which is a sailor. And then A level limit break kind of goes in the middle there. You got the S tier sub up here, which again is better than the A tier. And then up the top, you have the 3 golden tiers. S all-rounder means these guys are great as captains, they're great as subs, or they are just so freaking powerful and so good, they find so much play on even teams where they're not even boosted, that they are sort of like the creme de la creme. The top 10, obviously being the top 10, are the 10 best units in the game as of my criteria and the way that I like to play the game, the way I look at the game. And then this god tier here are basically the sort of next 10 after that, and they're kind of just outside the top 10. So anything from top 10 down to S tier all-rounder, all these characters here are characters that you really want to have maxed out. Special exceptions, probably something like Marco for XP farming. But yeah, even the S tier, you kind of want to max these guys out as well, because everything that you see in S tier and above are very, very good, like very, very good. So before we dive in, let's quickly have a look at our top 10, and let's see if there's any changes that I want to make as of this month. Remember, as months go on, we do obviously get new characters, different classes get buffed, different colors get buffed, and obviously that comes into a consideration as well. Now, I was on stream today. Huge shout out to Stream, Twitch link in the description below for you guys if you haven't hit me with a follow yet. And we were sort of talking that sort of like Powerhouse at the moment and even Driven have kind of dropped off a lot in the last sort of month or two, where Free Spirit and Cerebral have been getting buff after buff after buff, and they've been just getting climbing up. And obviously new characters and older characters of, say, the Cerebral class and, say, the Free Spirit class are going to rank a little bit higher in this month's tier list rather than, say, Driven and Powerhouse characters from last month. That doesn't mean that the characters gotten worse. It just means at this point in time, because of the said new characters that we're obviously including, or the buffs that have been received, means that we are going to be moving up. So my top 2 are the Straw Hat Crew, obviously, with their final tap maxed, and Wodger. For me, I think Wodger is still the best character in the game. You can put them on literally any single team, and they will make that team better on every single stage. Luffy Crew, obviously, if you want to make an argument to me that you'd max damage potential, their final tap's the best final tap in the game, I definitely agree there. If you want to say they're the best unit in the game, I will 100% agree. These two units are so close and so interchangeable. Depending on the situation, I would happily accept that Straw Hat Crew V2 is the best unit in the game. I would happily accept that Whitebeard and Roger is the best unit in the game. So whichever way you want to go with these two units, I'm happy to say one of them is the other. For me, I use Whitebeard and Roger so much more than I use Luffy Crew V2. However, Slashes obviously just get a huge boost, and they are a slash unit, so we're going to keep them at the top here. Uta, for me, is by far the 3rd best character in the game. Uta's special, honestly, has to be the best special in the entire game. Like, it's so friggin' powerful. Not triggering interrupts is so valuable, and getting 3 turns of a crazy buff for strikers and cerebral characters, 2 of the best classes in the game. For me, at the moment, I think Free Spirit, Cerebral, and Striker characters hold, like, the top, and then after that, you kind of have a battle between, like, Powerhouse, Slasher, maybe even, I honestly think Slashers have moved up into 4th, now that I'm really thinking about it. And then the bottom 4, you kind of got a battle between, like, Fighters and Powerhouse, and then, like, Shooters and, what's the other class that I'm missing? Shooters and, oh my gosh, what class am I missing? I can't even think about it. It doesn't matter right now. But Uta is exceptional. Yamato and Ace. I'm going to move Yamato and Ace down here. Whilst I do think Yamato and Ace are way better than both Luffy and Kaido in pretty much every aspect of the game that isn't... Well, actually, maybe not Luffy, but the downside to this particular unit... These guys are great if you are a newer player, by the way. If you're a newer player, this is one of the legends that you really want to get your hands on. Because their switch ability is so good. Their captain ability, removing Special Bind and Bind, opens the door to so many good teams. and makes team building so much easier. So for me, I think they've dropped off a little bit, but like whenever you can use them for content, like look at this new point event, right? Like they were so good for this point event because there was special bind on stage 3. They could remove the special bind and hunky dory, Bob's your uncle, you're good to go. Luffy and Kaido. Now, Luffy and Kaido are an interesting one, and a lot of people will say that Kaido is the best unit in the game, especially with these like Super Tandem level 5. And look, in Kazuna, I'll definitely agree. But got to remember that this tier list is based on the entire game, not just Kazuna or Treasure Map, for example. And for me, Kaido is quite slow, and when you are team building, it's just, you have to build around Kaido so heavily that 98% of players aren't going to be able to do that to his maximum potential, like what you can do with something like Luffy, or like just chucking Whitebeard and Roger on a team, and you're pretty much good to go. For me, I have much more fun with Luffy. I really enjoy Luffy. Luffy's great in Kazuna, but obviously not as good in Treasure Map. He's not as good in Kazuna as Kaido is, but he's still great. But in every other area of the game, he is just so good. Law's probably one of my favorite design units. Removes paralysis in his kit, has an amazing special. Same with Kid. For me, I think Kid's probably dropped off a little bit just because Powerhouse and Driven have been pushed back. Driven, that was the other one that I was forgetting. I think Powerhouse, Driven, and Fighters are kind of fighting out for that sort of 5th spot, and then Shooters are still at the back end. Sorry about that. And then finally we have Ace Sabo. Now, Ace Sabo for me definitely aren't in my top 10 in terms of like the best units going around. However, they're so good for Grand Voyage, and the fact that they are so good in literally 3 Grand Voyages is the reason that they're up so damn high. And for me, like, I think they're going to drop this month, but look, that's the reason why they're there. So, Yamato, both Yamatos are great. Bond Clay, amazing. Honestly, Warwick for me is like here. Like, this is probably my most used legend next to Marco. So if you have Carrot and Wanda, do not underestimate them. Definitely limit break, expand them. 3-turn cooldown is insane for what they do. Ben Beckman, Lucky Rube, absolutely, they have one of the most cracked captain abilities, and I don't think there's another unit that carries their class heavier than what Ben Beckman and Lucky Rube can do. Sasuke, I was saying on stream today, I think people underestimate the resilience, or the resistance, sorry, debuff that you can apply to the enemy. It goes through everything. The enemy cannot get around resistance, so it's very, very good, and it's honestly what makes the new K-Dad unit so good as well. X-Drake, phenomenal special. These 2 units are so good because of this guy, and these 2 units make this guy so much better. If you have Kaido, you want to max out Sasaki, and you want to max out X-Drake as quickly as possible, because they are very, very good. Toki's got a bit of a revitalization with the new K-Dad unit as well. Same with Roger as well. Like, these 2 units got a very big buff this month because of K-Dad. They're just great. Like, the Slasher class just got infinitely better with this particular unit. We'll talk about that once we get there, but Toki, if you know what's coming, like, Toki's easy top 10 unit. Like, for 97.9% of content, Toki is going to be enough damage output for literally everything. Arena, story events, in forests, absolutely insane. You haven't done forest yet. Garbs challenges, the Heavenly Demon 1 and Heavenly Demon 2, sorry, Revolutionary 2, Toki's just so good there, and there's no doubting how powerful that Toki ability actually is. Roger's still amazing with his blowaway in terms of reducing Haki. The waifus, they're great. They're one of the highest color affinity boosters in the game, next to Shanks, obviously for quick. Characters that have Super Tandem, though, are always going to find their way a little bit higher on the list, because I do think Super Tandem is the strongest mechanic in the game. And then Frankie Tanky, they're just absolutely insane for what they can do, plus they're a free spirit unit. Attack boost, or boost, color affinity, you have a lot of damage just with them. The S tier all-rounders, we have, I don't think I really want to move anyone here. I think in S tier all-rounder, we might start moving some characters. I think I want to move Frankie Tanky down, so S tier all-rounder. And then I think we're going to move some characters here down. Usopp and Yasop, absolutely phenomenal. Chopper, again, resistance, and utility's great. Kinemon and Denjiro. Kinemon and Denjiro obviously got nerfed this month because of the new K-Dad unit. But again, with their super swap, they can be very, very good. But I think it's probably time that we sort of have a look at dropping them. Hiyori, I've come around on the Hiyori hype train. I think she's very, very good. I don't think she's as good as everyone says she is, but I still think she's good. Dogstorm, definitely better than Cat Viper in my opinion, like way better. Law, absolutely fantastic. Cerebral's got a huge buff, so he's fine. Ace with Free Spirit's got a buff, but then these 4 characters down here, I think we have to now start having a chat with. Blackbeard, Driven Powerhouse, as I said, has dropped off drastically, and getting around his Super Tandem is very challenging to do so. So I do think we're going to bring him down to S tier captain. I think he's up there with like partnering with how good Uta 6+ is. So I think it's probably right to drop him to S tier captain. As for Akainu, I think it's very well timed we take down Akainu as well. Driven Powerhouse, same argument. Chain Lock is being completely overwritten by Chain Boundary nowadays. And the final character that I do want to drop here is Queen. I think Queen, as good as Queen is, and Queen is so much better than King, don't get me wrong, I just think it's time that Queen's had his time in the sun, and these three powerhouse-driven characters need to sort of come down. Kid is very, very close, but Kid is just so good because he's a striker as well, and you can still hybrid him up with something like this guy. Ace is a free spirit, who I do think is better than Akainu, but the unit obviously is in tandem with itself, so that's also something to note. As for this level limit break 5 tier, we do want to bring Bullet down. I think Bullet is the best level limit break in the entire game. I don't think there's any doubting that. Bullet is absolutely fantastic. And then Corazon, honestly for me, Corazon is probably the next best level limit break. What they did with Corazon is just absolutely fantastic. They buffed his utility. They also gave him orb manipulation. They gave him tandem orbs, which is just phenomenal if you do have this guy, by the way. So that's absolutely awesome. Very, very good level limit break. Rayleigh's level limit break is absolutely phenomenal as well, but he's still an amazing sub with or without that. Shanks got an insane level limit break as well. And I think that was pretty much all of them from down here that I really wanted to talk about. As for the rest of these guys down here, these are all just like S tier subs. Oh, Shiki. Shiki's another very, very good level limit break. They did a fantastic job with level limit break Shiki, as well as his 6+. As for the S tier subs, you guys can go through these. Notable ones that I use a lot are Page 1 ulti, guaranteed conditional, as well as a great switch ability. Carrot, when Carrot gets her level limit break, holy shit, she's going to be wild. Pudding is one of my most used legends because I'm a sucker for cooldowns. And then these guys over here, like Sober Mask, Wano Law, Shanks Crew, Vivi Rebecca, Robin Jinbei, absolutely insane units, so make sure to max them out. As for the rest of these characters here, I would sort of prioritize this kind of top row. I guess Odin's probably more valuable than Big Mom. I would sort of prioritize this top row if you were looking after doing these characters, and obviously these two should be a priority, as well as Bullet, even if you don't have them level limit break 5. Down to the A tier captains, we do want to change some characters to A tier level limit break. So we're going to bring down Sabo. I think Sabo has a fantastic level limit break. I do think Kuzan's is a little bit better, and I do think V1 Kuzan's is even better than that. Stampede Luffy got a fantastic buff as well. I think he's probably better than what Sabo can provide, but I haven't... Yeah, honestly, I would say that. As for Enel and Hody, they also got level limit breaks. Great captain options. However, I don't think they're as good. Hody, definitely better than Enel. Enel's just a bit of a meme. He's just a lot of fun. And Dofi, for me, I really like Dofi. I'm going to put Dofi in the middle there. But look, he's a Driven. Driven has dropped off significantly. So let's just put him back here for now. Because I haven't really done too much with Dofi, but I do really like what they've done with Doflamingo. As for the A tier subs here, I really like what they did with Blackbeard. I think Blackbeard's level limit break is fantastic. Katakuri's level limit break is absolutely insane as well. Katakuri for me is probably up here if you have him at level 5. He's very, very good. Akainu, an amazing unit as well. Definitely going to bring him up to level limit break 5 as well. For what he does, I think he's way better than stuff like these characters down here. And I think that was everyone in that sort of tier there. I am going to bring Garp up as well. I think Garp and Rayleigh sort of just go side by side. Rayleigh obviously is much better for Grand Voyage. It's probably why he's up here and Garp isn't. However, Garp can allow you to use another special, so there's definitely that as well. Boa, she also is the one with a level limit break, so we're going to bring her up as well. As for B tier captains and B tier subs, you guys can go through these, but as for level limit breaks, Tesoro got a very good level limit break. Law has a very good level limit break. Kizaru is great, especially if you're looking at using him in Rumble. Fantastic buffs. Tesoro, definitely at the back end. Zora got a fantastic level limit break. Ace got a pretty good one. I think he does burn now. I know Fuji got one. I don't know if it's this Fuji or the other Fuji, so I'm just going to bring this one down, and if it's not, let me know in the comment section below. As for the rest of the characters, we have Judge. He got one. I don't really like Judges, so we're going to bring him here. Croc's got one, and he's for Cerebral characters, actually, so I think Cerebrals are probably up here somewhere. As for Tesoro, I think he's better than Ace. Marco definitely got a very good one. He's for Sai and Quick. No, Sai and... Sai and Quick. Jinbei, not too bad. Very, very good for Grand Voyage, so I think he's probably a little bit more valuable than most. And I think that's it. Or Judge got one as well. We're going to put the two Judges together, so awesome. The rest of the B tier subs, I think everyone's sort of fine here. And the beautiful thing about this level limit break tier now is it really just sort of breaks up the tiers and shows like the characters' differences to how like valuable they actually are. Particular characters I want to move down. Anyone? No. I don't think I really want to move anyone. Maybe Croc. Maybe Lucci. I haven't used Lucci in a little while. But I think we're okay with just leaving everyone there. If I've missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. And obviously, let me know your thoughts and opinions as well. As for these characters down here, some of these characters did get level limit breaks as well. We got Dofi. He's got not a bad level limit break. He's really good for Driven, but like Driven have kind of dropped off significantly. Akainu, he got a level limit break as well. He's actually pretty good because strength is so strong. Cavendish or Hakuba. These characters all have very, very good supports though. So like you definitely want to max out their supports before you really do anything else. Sengoku, he's okay. Nothing too flash. Buggy got a very good one, but Buggy obviously when content requires is the only time you're really using Buggy. And that... Oh, this Luffy's another level limit break. So yeah, as for all these characters down here, you're pretty much only ever really using them for support. Doesn't mean you won't see them played elsewhere, but hopefully this tier here gets a buff soon. So that's enough about that. We've like rambled on for 20 minutes about the tier list. Now let's get into the crux of the level limit break characters. First of all, we got Cracker. Now Cracker didn't really get too much. He became a 5x captain. He got some cooldown. He's a slasher powerhouse unit. The big upside to this guy is his Rumble Kit, but in regular play, I don't think he got all that much. He got like an extra buff to his chain boost. It's a 1.3 now and goes for 3 turns instead of 2. Same with his color affinity, goes for 3 turns instead of 2. So that's really the buff that Cracker got. That's basically it that he got. He got a little bit shafted, honestly, compared to the other two. As for the next 4, the 2 of each of these guys work very, very well together. We're going to start with Zoro and Mihawk. Now, Zoro is going to be good for the next Grand Voyage, so obviously, if you have him level 5, be very, very happy. I do think he got quite a decent buff. The way he works, both him and Mihawk I'm going to put in the same tier because I think that they both got a very similar buff, and they both are very, very good in the righteousness of what they actually do. So they both boost slasher characters. Mihawk is still the chain boundary captain, so 4 times to the chain, or 4 times to the chain, I'm pretty sure, on a 1.8 times attack boost, where Zoro is then upwards to like a 5 times captain when you have matching orbs. They make Dex and Int orbs beneficial. Zoro also makes them easier to land on. But then the way they work are, when you use their special, Zoro gives you the perfect buff and a 2.25 times attack buff. When you hit 3 perfects, you get the 2.5 times attack. And Mihawk gives you a 2.25 times orb boost. And then if you, on the next turn, you get the 2.5 times orbs. Zoro also gives you a left-hand side Dex, right-hand side Int, and through block orbs. So with the 2 of them, you get an attack boost, you get a full board of orbs, you get an orb boost, and you can carry that over 2 stages. Very easy to find someone like the Perona support to like lock your orbs as well. And you can do some really, really cool things. However, if you have a Mihawk on the team, Zoro will then give you 3 turns of a base stat boost, or sorry, color affinity boost. Where Mihawk, if you have a Zoro on the team, will also give you 3 turns of a base stat boost. But you don't have to run the 2 of them together. You can actually run a support on said character, and that'll activate the effect as well. So with Mihawk, if you have a Zoro or a Perona, so Perona is included on both of them, I did forget to mention that, apologies. If you have Perona as a supporter on the team for both of these teams, both these characters, you can actually get that extra effect of the base stats for Mihawk and the color affinity for Zoro. The downside I did find is the base stats are only 1,000, the color affinity is only 2 times, and the numbers are still a little bit lower for characters that don't have stuff like super type, that don't have stuff like super classes. However, if you limit break plus them, the numbers do get a little bit higher, but still, I think Bandai sort of held back quite a bit when it comes to what these characters can actually do. Nevertheless, they are the perfect hybrid units, and they work very, very, very well together. I definitely would not say that they're S tier, but I definitely think they are much better than this sort of characters down here, because if you run them together, and that's why I'm putting them together, they work so freaking well, like so goddamn well. Unfortunately, again, no utility, nothing like that at all. Mihawk does get, I think, or Zoro, I want to say it's Mihawk. Mihawk gets 1.5 times HP if you level limit break expand him, sorry. But other than that, they are quite flimsy. Slashes, though, did get a huge buff. And honestly, if you have Kinemon, Dendro, Ashura, and Dogstorm, there's no real reason to be running these guys as your captain anyway. But you definitely could run them on the team. And you definitely could find a way to make them very, very good. Because, like, Zoro is going to give you the matching orbs. And I'm pretty sure as Sailors, they should make those orbs matching as well. Next, we've got Neko and Inu. Now, out of this batch, Neko and Inu V1 are my 2 favorite of the buffs. Now, Like Zoro and Mihawk, they work very, very well together because in their captain abilities, Cat Viper got the addition of strength units, where Dogstorm got the addition of Psi units. So with Dogstorm, you can run any Cerebral character and then any Psi unit. So you could easily slide Cat Viper on the team or as a friend captain. And then with Cat Viper, he's a striker-based unit, which will then also boost strength. So you can slide Dogstorm as your friend captain. Between the two of them, they work very, very well as like chain boundary units. Now, Dogstorm, I think, got a much better buff because he's a 3-turn chain boundary unit. He also removes 6 turns of damage reduction, which is absolutely phenomenal. Where Cat Viper, he removes 6 turns of attack down, as well as 6 turns as bind, which has gone up from his regular 3, and also has a very chunky 1.5 times chain boost. If you level Limit Break expand them, or Limit Break plus them, on top of their level Limit Break 5, you can do some absolutely nutso things. They get massive chain boost, where Dogstorm, if you're below 30% HP, will give a 1.5 times chain multiplier additional, as well as Cat Viper getting an extra 0.3 to the chain buff if you Limit Break plus them. So the two of them together is phenomenal. You just do a whole bunch of crazy chain shenanigans, and literally just with your chain shenanigans, you can get so much back-ended damage that they are so very, very good. As for the batch this month, I don't think it's as strong as last month's batch. Like if you have a look up here, like Hody and all Blackbeard, like these characters were all a little bit better in my opinion, but I really do like that they are making these characters more fun. Again, the only downside to all of this is unless you're running older content, you're probably not finding the fun from these particular units. So let them sort of come to you, max them out when you can. But like I said, characters that I think are going to be very, very good for content moving forward. The big one is Dogstorm. I think Dogstorm is by far the best of this batch, purely because he's the chain boundary unit, and chain boundary over 3 turns is so freaking valuable. 2.25 times chain, going up to 35 times is very, very good, especially when you have a 1.5 times chain boost on top of that as well. So very, very nice. Moving on to the crux of the video with the new characters and the new legends and the new 6 pluses. So if we go down here, the first character of the month was the treasure map legend Hina. Hina's phenomenal. She's a cerebral striker booster, as well as boosting quick by 5 times. I'm pretty sure it's a 5.25, or it might be 4.75 and then 5 times if you have a matching orb. But she's a cerebral striker booster, and cerebral strikers, as I was saying earlier, are very, very good. As for her type being quick, it's probably one of the weaker types in the game, but they did get some buffs recently, obviously with Shanks and Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo. Those types of characters did give that unit, did give the typing a huge buff, but Hina gives it an insane buff. It's 5.25 attack when you have a matching orb, 4.5 times otherwise. She reduces damage by 10% and then delays all enemies by 1 turn depending on how much damage you deal. 20% chance at 100,000, 50% at 500, 100% chance at 1 million, and then 100% chance going through delay immunity if you hit 2 million damage. Now that part you're never really going to see. However, the last part of her captain ability states that she locks the crew's slots for 10 turns. Now cerebrals have a lot of very good units that you can abuse that with, namely Hiyori. Strikers, you have characters like Kaido and his super class. Absolutely fantastic captain ability. Not only that, but she has an incredible special, and probably, like, arguably, like, one of the best specials for quick units. Her special is going to reduce defense up by 6 turns and attack down by 6 turns as well. She reduces damage taken by 80% and then boosts quick cerebral striker characters' slot effects by 2.75. Now, that is the highest slot boost for quick. There's no other character that can do that better. You can get some cerebral or some striker characters to do a better slot boost, obviously like Kaido, but she's amazing because she does it for quick, and that's the big upside. If you have a slot boost, she's then going to boost cerebral and striker characters' attack by 2.25 and quick characters' base stats by 1,000. So if you already have an orb boost, say you're running like a quick striker team and you use this guy's orb boost, you're then going to get an attack boost and a base stat boost. However, the attack boost is only for strikers and cerebrals, while the base stats is only for quick units. That's where I find it a bit wonky with this particular character. However, I do still think that she's very, very good. As a captain, I think she's absolutely fantastic, and you can abuse that lock multiplier. But as a sub, I think that's where she's going to see most of her play, as she has really, really good utility, and she can have a lot of very good damage output. For me, I think she's probably at the top end of this S tier all-rounder. I don't know if I would say that she's better than like a maxed out Shanks with his super tandem ability. I don't think I would say she's better than the waifus because they just have so much damage output. However, 2.75 times orbs, like that is really, really, really strong. Like really, really strong. For me, she might honestly be like just up here in God tier. Like I think I'm just gonna put her on the cusp of God tier, possibly on the cusp of like all rounder. We'll leave her all rounder for now at the top end, and we might change that as we go on. Mainly because like she's part of like 2 of the best classes in the game, which is absolutely wild. I really like what they did with Hina. I like the orb lock mechanic. She has a support that gives locks orbs on like Tesoro, Sengoku, Zephyr, Monkey D. Garp, those types of characters as well. And in Rumble, she's kind of mid, so like don't really worry about her in Rumble too much because Cerebrals aren't really there yet. The next character we're going to talk about is Blackbeard 6+. Good old Blacklebeard's 6+. For me, Blackbeard was always really a content required or niche character. Blackbeard's whole gimmick was, or still is, sorry, I should say, is when you take damage, he gives himself cooldown. As a captain, I'm pretty sure he gives himself something like 2 turns of cooldown whenever you take damage. And then you can just keep popping his special to increase his attack multipliers up to 4 times if you use his special twice. But his buff is pretty significant with level limit break 5, as well as his 6+. So with level limit break 5, he also boosts strength characters now, which is a huge addition, because if we go up the top here, int and strength are very, very strong. You have this guy right here that you could easily use on the team. You can use this guy on the team, which is very, very good. And you also have something like Kaido, which is absolutely nutso. So the addition of strength is very, very good for Blackbeard. As a captain as well, he boosts HP by 1.75, and now he doesn't reduce your recovery anymore. That's completely gone. He boosts his own attack by 5.25 approximately, and makes int and strength characters int and strength slots have matching slot effects. And then he also completely removes paralysis and special bind on himself, while also giving himself 2 turns of cooldown if you take damage at the start of the next turn. So the addition of paralysis and special bind is absolutely phenomenal. The reason this is so good is because when you actually utilize his special, he's the one doing all the damage, right? So you don't want to be paralyzed on him. And if you are running double Blackbeard, obviously both of them are going to be immune to special binds. Both of them are going to be immune to paralysis. So you can just use like a chain locker, and then you can just like bink the damage literally with the Blackbeards. However, it does still get nerfed by Despair, so just be mindful about that if you ever are building a Blackbeard team. His special now has gone down to 9 turns, which is a monstrous buff. Like an absolute monstrous buff. The 9-turn cooldown, or 8 with level limit break and limit break expansion, is insane, because you use your special, you take 3 shots and you got your special again. However, at level limit break 5, his special got a very big buff. He reduces enemies' HP by 10%, which is great because now you can use stuff like the rogue support and whatnot. He reduces all enemies' threshold by 7 turns at level limit break 5, 6 if you don't have him level limit break 5. Changes his own slot, including block, to his own type, and then boosts the attack and orbs of himself based on the number of times you've used his special. At level limit break 5, he starts at a 3.5 times attack and orb boost. After you use a special once, it's 3.75. After the next time, you have a 4 times attack and orb boost. Absolutely insane. Insane. Very, very good. For me, he's definitely at the back end of the S tier. I think the 7 turns of threshold is what gets him over the line, as well as having strength in his kit to allow for much easier team building. Getting off the 3rd special is not hard to do nowadays. I don't love his playstyle, but I can definitely credit what he can do and how effective he can be in content now moving forward. He just basically blasts the stage. 4 times attack, 4 times orbs. There's not much that's going to survive that. And on a final stage, if you have 2 enemies like in Dofy 2, if you guys haven't checked out the showcases, make sure to check them out. You can easily use something like the Straw Hat Crew to just double the damage that he does and just throw it back at the next unit, even though they're not getting any buffs. So I do like what they did with Blackbeard. I like that they kept to his kit, and he works very, very well. The next unit on the list is Corazon and Law, the Halloween Sugo that sort of came out of nowhere for 1 week for the back end of the celebration. He was our Blitz legend, and honestly, I really, really like what they did with this Corazon. He reduces cooldowns by 1 turn at the start of the quest, boosts int and cerebral characters' attack by 5.25 when slots are empty, 5 times otherwise, boosts HP by 1.3, and reduces Despair by 10 turns. So, pretty interesting captain ability. Despair removal is great, and then obviously Empty Orbs is a bit of a weird one, but obviously it brings back the concept of this particular unit right here. And if you do have this unit, they work very, very well as a hybrid option with Corazon and Law. As a special, Corazon Law is going to boost cerebral characters' attack by 2.75, changes crew slots to empty slots. Crew lands on empty slots for 3 turns no matter what, so enemies cannot change this, and it also affects your own slot effects. So if you're using something like Wiping and Roger, and you use their special, like Horizontal Law special, and then you switch to Wiping Roger, you're not going to get the matching orbs. So very interesting that happens. And then changes the attack multiplier of empty slots to 2.25, which is normally 1.0 for 3 turns. And this works with slot boosts. So you can use an orb boost on your empty orbs to get damage. And if you know that there's block or super bomb or all those nasty orbs that are coming your way on the turn before, you just pop this special and you're just good to go. However, if you already have those orbs, you can't get rid of it with this guy, unfortunately. For me, they are just a much better version of what Hina does as a captain, because Hina like locks orbs, which is great for 10 turns, and you can abuse it with something like Hiyori. You're always guaranteed this literally just with this particular unit. Not only that, but they also give an attack boost for the class. There was a free-to-play Blitz character, Dofu, that came out that gives 3 turns of an orb boost as well for Cerebrals, and it works very, very well. The ability to just completely negate the enemy's ability to give you unfavorable orbs or give you block orbs or something really, really nasty is so freaking powerful. For me, like, I really want to put them up here in God tier. I've loved using this unit, but I just don't know if I would say that they're like better than some of these other units in particular areas. For me, I'm going to put them in S tier all-rounder for now. I think, honestly, between them and Hina, they are just neck and neck. I do like Horizontal Law a little bit more because Horizontal Law boost int, and they have a lot of really good int units, but obviously it's been their kind of month, so we haven't really been able to see too much of where that's been super effective elsewhere. Hina, for me, like, if you run like Hiyori as a sub underneath Hina, you just lock the Wano orbs, which is actually wild. So you can do some really, really cool stuff there. But like getting the empty orbs and just avoiding enemy mechanics, as well as having them as matching, like, it's actually wild how much damage you can do. A big downside I did find to this unit, however, not only is their support really wonky, but they're a Cerebral Free Spirit, so you can actually use them on Free Spirit teams as well, but like you can use them very, very well with this guy as a hybrid option. But the thing that I found a bit annoying is because you get the empty orbs for 3 turns, the 3rd turn when you go in and you get empty orbs, you don't have that extra like 2.25. So it's a little bit annoying. You have to find a way to sort of like manipulate your orbs that way, or sort of finish the run, or just use the other Horizontal Law special. They work great if you're running 2 of them as a unit, and they're just very, very good. They don't have a final tap. They don't have a super tandem, unfortunately, just like Hina. And for that reason, it kind of drops them off a little bit, unlike these characters that have super tandem abilities. These characters that work just absolutely phenomenal with the new units and whatnot as well. So very, very good unit. Not far off the top, but like, they are just, yeah, they're very, very good. Let them come to you kind of units if you ask me, but like, if you have them, be very happy because they're very, very good. The unit that came out alongside this particular unit was the 6+ of Ace, and this one came out of kind of nowhere because a lot of people were anticipating this unit as a 6+, but no one really expected us to get him when we actually got him. But this is one that I was looking forward to a lot, and to be honest, they didn't really need to do too much to Ace to make him that much better. He obviously has a level limit break 5, and his 6+ made him a little bit better. The big upside to this particular unit was that he removes 10 turns of special bind and 10 turns of special reverse just with his captain ability, which is actually really, really good. Like, it's still up there as one of the best abilities to remove both special bind and special reverse. Besides, like, bind, those two, special reverse and special bind, are 2 of the most annoying debuffs to get around, especially when stuff like fear is in the mix, because if you don't have fear on a character that can do what you need to do, or if they special rewind you and special bind you, and the character doesn't have the ability to rewind their specials back or remove the special binds, you have to find a character that's very, very good to do that. Stuff like Karasu, stuff like Rare Recruit King, those types of units are very, very valuable. But with Ace as your captain, you just don't have to worry about it. Now, he removes 1 turn of cooldown at the start of the quest and boosts shooter, fighter, and int characters. They added the int, which is absolutely phenomenal. He boosts their attack by 4.75 and HP by 1.5. He also makes their int, psi, and tandem slots have matching slot effects, as well as still doing the special bind and special reverse removal. He is still a fighter shooter, and he has like barrier pen, which is awesome, but his special did get quite a big buff as well. He does 200 times his attack in damage to all enemies, bind, reduces crew's bind by 10 turns, and then boosts int, shooter, fighter character's attack by 2.5. So that was always a 2.5 times boost, but obviously now that it includes the int typing as well. If you have an attack boost when the special is launched, he boosts the type effects of normal attacks for in shooter and fighter characters by 2.25 for 1 turn, and if the crew has 6 tandem slots when the special is launched, increases slot effect boost to 3 times, and changes crew's lock chain multiplier to 3.75, which changes both the minimum and the maximum value. So the last part might sound a little bit weird, but the reason that he does all of that last, stuff is because there's a free-to-play Halloween Luffy that came out alongside this guy who's available right now, and if you have 6+ Ace, I would highly recommend farming him up, that gives you a full board of tandem orbs, can remove 4 turns of despair, and gives you a chain lock depending if you have an orb boost or not. If you have an orb boost, he becomes I think he does like a 2.75 times chain lock for 3 turns, and if you don't, he's a 3 times chain lock for 1 turn. The big upside to the reason that Luffy's so good is because when you use the Luffy special, he gives you the full board of tandem slots, but then he binds himself for 7 turns. Lucky for us, Ace can remove 10 turns of binds. You then use the Ace special, and because you have the 6 turns or the 6 tandem orbs, he turns the chain lock into a 3.75 chain lock, and if you have an orb boost, the orb boost becomes a 3 times orb boost. The Luffy can use Halloween lore support, so you get that orb boost, or you can use something like Halloween Sabo that came out as a Kazuna character. He's available in the Kazuna shop if you really want to. He does something similar if you are utilizing the Luffy. And the 3 of those characters, the 3 brothers, all work really, really well together. And it's something that I really, really like, and something that I think is absolutely phenomenal that Bandai has done, that I think they should do more of. When we get a 6+ unit, bring out a free-to-play character that works absolutely amazing alongside them. You can farm up that unit, and it just makes their 6+ so much better. Very similar to what they did with this Corazon and lore up here. They released the Blitz Doflamingo, who gives you 3 turns of an orb boost to Cerebrals and Driven characters at 2.25, but then gives you shitty orbs. But you can just use this guy first to avoid the orbs, and it works so phenomenally. The 2 of these characters having partnered free-to-play units just makes them so much better and makes the free-to-play character so much more valuable. It gives players an incentive to farm up these units and actually try and run them alongside these characters, making them a lot more powerful and a lot more viable in content, even if they don't have stuff like super classes and super types. For me, Ace is probably 3rd best level limit break and 6+ on the level limit break list. I still think Corazon has a much better one because of the way he works with other units, but the way because Ace didn't really need that much already, but what they did do with him, they just sort of gave him more damage output. For me, I would have loved to see that multiplier go to 2.75 to fighters, shooters, and in characters. I would have loved to see that color affinity sit at 2.5 and just make him absolutely disgusting. But they didn't go balls to the wall. They sort of held back a little bit, and understandably so. I get it. I do understand Ace is still very, very good. However, for me, I'm probably still running Ace Yamato most of the time over Halloween Ace, but look, I do like that Halloween Ace is now viable once again. The final unit on the list is Kinemon, Denjiro, Ashura Doji, and Dogstorm, the new special Sugo Fest character that did release for the 8.5th anniversary. And I gotta say, wow. Wow. I am a huge fan of this unit. I've been playing with this guy, or these guys, I should say. Oh, that sounded weird. Don't take that out of context. I've been playing with this unit so much since their release. I actually rainbowed them. We had some crazy luck on the summons. Make sure to go check out the channel for that kind of stuff as well. And what we've been able to do with this particular unit is absolutely phenomenal. If you guys haven't seen the showcases, make sure to go check them out. I do have another video coming of the Kid Forest, which was absolutely bonkers. And hopefully, you guys will be able to check that video out after this. But this unit's absolutely insane. They are so freaking powerful. And honestly, whilst most people are skipping this particular Sugo Fest, which I don't blame you, if you're missing the waifus, throwing a few multis to this banner would not be the end of the world. Still, the banner's out to the December 9th, so hold off. But this character is so freaking powerful. As a captain, they boost slasher characters' special charge by 2 turns at the start of the quest, their HP by 1.25, and attack by 5.25 when slots match, 5 times otherwise. They make recovery and tandem orbs have matching slot effects, and they reduce attack down by 10 turns. Tapping with this character in a Wano slot will apply a minus 10% slash resistance to all enemies for 1 turn. So these guys just infinitely make slashers so much better. They bring slashers to me into the top 4 discussion easily. Honestly, just outside the top 2 discussion. I think slashers for me really sit around the 3rd mark. Free spirits, cerebrals, then slashers, then strikers. But slashers and strikers are so close that it's not even funny. But this particular unit, helps out slashers so goddamn much. Their special reduces all damage nullification by 5 turns. This unit is the highest damage null remover in the entire game. Absolutely wild. And it scares me a little bit to see what they're going to do with damage null, because Damage Null has to be the most annoying. Has to be the most annoying ability in the game. Like, has to be. They also change crew slots, including block slots, to their own type. Boost Strength, Slasher, and Free Spirit characters' attack by 3 times for 2 turns. And if inherited Odin 2-sword style Paradise Totsuka or Odin 2-sword style Paradise Totsuka was used in this turn, deals 1 million fixed damage that ignores normal attacks only and defensive effects. Further increases the attack and slot boost by 0.25 and extends the duration of the attack and slot boost by 1 turn, also applying to the attack boost of this unit. So very, very good special, and obviously it's made to be used with V1 6+ Odin. This unit completely revitalizes that unit. It brings that unit back from the dead. If you don't have this character, you can always hybrid it up with a V1 Odin, and it still works phenomenally. They are a super class slasher unit, which works absolutely phenomenal alongside Odin. Odin triggers that super type as well. Sorry, the super class. These guys trigger Odin's super type, and that way you can have a super class and a super type for strength. Strength slashes are in abundance, and it's going to work very, very well for stuff like Kizuna and high damage teams if you are versing Dex bosses. Their super class deals 100 times their attack in non-type damage to all enemies, changes the top and bottom row to Wano and the middle row to Tandem. If you're running a V1 Odin as your captain, that's Tandem will become Wano as well. And it just works absolutely phenomenally because you can get the resistance debuff when you attack with the Wano slots as well. So very, very good super class. And then to wrap it all off, they have a final tap. And their final tap is very reminiscent of a very funny character that we know and love, Straw Hat Pirates V2. On the final stage, you just get their final tap, changes character's slot to Wano, and which boosts their attack by 2.5, and then adds 1.0 times the damage dealt by normal attacks of other slasher characters on top of this character's damage on the final stage. Absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, I've been playing around with this unit so much that for me, I'm going to put them right here. They are just outside the top 5 for me, that it's not even funny. This character is quickly becoming my favorite character to use in the entire game. Slashers have always had a soft spot in my heart. Free Spirits will always have my heart, but Slashers have always been a close second. And this character sort of sits in that sort of both of those realms. So what this character does for Slashers is very reminiscent for me of what the Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo does for shooters. They hard carry their class so freaking much that they are so much fun to play with. For me, at the moment, I'm more leaning towards something like this, which to me just seems absolutely wild to even think about. But remember, they have access to this guy right here. They also can go on a Free Spirit team because their attack boost does boost Free Spirits, so it definitely buffs this particular Luffy as well. For myself, honestly, I really want to put them here in the top 10. I think they're an absolutely fantastic, fantastic character, but I don't want to overhype them too much just yet because we haven't really seen what they can do in stuff like Treasure Map and Kizuna. But in saying that, I do think they are just going to be absolutely insane. So, like, I really want to leave them 4th. I think I'm going to leave them 4th, and then Luffy Kaido is tied for 5th. Like, these two units are so interchangeable. So, yeah, I'm going to leave them at 4th. When you guys see the next video that I'm going to release of the Kid Forest, you guys will understand why I'm, like, hyping up this unit so much. But that's going to wrap up the tier list. A bit of a long one for this month, and I do apologize for that. But hopefully you guys made it to the end of this video. If you did, make sure to belt the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions if you agree. If you don't agree, it's okay to disagree. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Everything's welcome. I read everyone's comments, but I sort of try to respond to everyone's. But obviously, once it gets too much with like real life stuff, it can be a little bit challenging. So please let me know your thoughts and opinions down there. Belt the like button, belt the subscribe button, do all that good stuff as well. Most importantly, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Late! Oh, something I forgot to do just before I go. I forgot to drop someone out of the top 10. It can't be a top 10 if there's 11 characters, right? So I think either Ace Sabo or Kid are in the runnings for being dropped down. Now, I'm going to leave Kid in God tier just because Ace Sabo are the exception to the Grand Voyage rule. They're literally so good in 3 Grand Voyage events. So I think I have to keep them up here at the top of the list. They're amazing in like every other piece of content, right? As well, they have great utility in their captain, great special ability. Kid has a super tandem, but I think Kid's super tandem is quite difficult to get. So until we have some more characters to come out or Driven get a bit more of a buff than something like Free Spirit does, we'll have to wait and see. But if you were to say that Kid goes there, Ace Sabo goes there, look, I would definitely accept that as well. For me, honestly, Ace Salvo is still my go-to. I still think Ace Salvo are absolutely incredible. So I'm going to leave it like that because I'm a bit more of a free spirit nerd than I am a driven striker. So it's going to wrap up the tier list now, guys. Big love. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your morning. Enjoy your evening. Wherever you are in this beautiful world, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.